Another big week in Canadian soccer with big moves across the pond. Who had the biggest transfer during the summer? We're ranking the top deals for Canadians this transfer window. Cloe Lacasse joins the show to talk her injury recovery and getting back to the national team. And the Women's Euro had everyone talking. Hello everyone, I'm Andy Petrillo. Welcome to Just Soccer, breaking everything down that you need to know. And is with me is Amy Walsh, former player, analyst, and co-host of the Footy Prime podcast. You feeling good today?
Feeling good, my friend.
All right, I love it. We're going to get right to it because there's been some massive transfers this window of Canadian talent. But who made the biggest splash, in your opinion? I may have already broken the rules with this top five, I'm not going to lie. That's just kind of how I do. So we are going to rank our top five. We're going to give our reasons for it as well. So let's get started. We're going to go 5-1 because one is always the nice big reveal. Who is your number five?
My number five, it might be off the board for some folks, but my number five is Quinn to the Vancouver Rise for the Northern Super League, because I feel like this 29-year-old, 104 international caps for Canada, gold medal winner, was a marquee signing and a signal to the footballing world that this league was one to be reckoned with worldwide. And a player of their pedigree, of their standing, of their clout was coming to this league. And then others followed. Nikki Stanton from the Seattle Reign, other big signings I think that we don't yet know about. That transfer window just opened on July 20th. But I think the significance of this move, especially when it comes to building and establishing quality, when the question marks were still there about what the standard of play was going to be, brought legitimacy and credibility early on to the NSL.
I like that. That is very hard to disagree with. And that's why I think we're both kind of going off the board and breaking the rules. It's not this particular transfer window. I feel like it's the year, like just this kind of what we're looking at.
Playing fast and loose with the rules.
But I like that because, to your point, it's groundbreaking. It's sending a message. It opens the door, and I like it. My number five is Vanessa Gilles. And going on loan to Bayern Munich. 29 years of age. This is a top defender, center back for the Canadian national team. So you always want her to be in a position where she is playing with top clubs, always having a chance to win a trophy, bringing that winning mentality to the national team as well. And Bayern's on a roll. They've won 4 of their 5 last league titles, 3 straight. She's somebody who wants to be lifting trophies and also somebody who needs to be playing consistently. So I really liked that move. And when I also had the chance to speak to her, I just love that she didn't turn it down when I said, move over Alphonso Davies. We have another Canadian in Bayern who's going to be stealing the show. She kind of chuckled and I'm like, that's right. You know you want to do that. So I just, I like how the Canadians are also taking over with Bayern Munich. And I think that's a huge move for her to be playing against really top competition. And hopefully that translates over to the national team. Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Ishmael Kone. So this move has yet to happen, but rumored to after a tumultuous kind of time in Europe, after I think cementing himself as one of the top young talents in the game in MLS for CF Montreal, and then is a big part of Jesse Marsh's Canada as soon as he came in, makes some noise at Copa America, but then kind of drops off a little bit in terms of his quality. So I think now, Andy, you can tell me if I'm saying it right. Sassuolo?
Yeah, Sassuolo.
Sassuolo. They wanted a Canadian initially. It was Tejan Buchanan. It's a name that might come up a little bit later on in our ranking here, but they miss out on him. And now the Serie B champs are looking to recruit another one. So yet to be confirmed, but I think this would be a really good move for the young Canadian who's still raw, has made some mistakes, I think, at the professional level. Remember, his pathway to pro was an atypical one, but has to stop making the mistakes and has to find some stability and consistency and playing time.
I'm going to go number 4, though, with Nathan Saliba. He's really become a name with the national team, was currently playing for CF Montreal, and now has been transferred to Anderlecht in Belgium. And I like this move, too. This was a move that Tejan Buchanan, if you remember, had made. Like, sometimes we want the big splashy move, we want the big team, but you've got to go where you also are going to just get a different exposure to different training. You want to be able to fight your way into a squad that maybe you have a better chance of getting into. I believe he's only made one appearance so far, but this is already an elevated level of play for a player that Jesse Marsh has already shown he really likes.
Yeah.
And again, was an absolute star. Even though things didn't go well in the Gold Cup for the Canadians, he's one of those feel-good stories that came out of it. So you want him playing against different competition. If you notice, a lot of my picks always have to do with the national team. And in particular for the men, we're heading to 2026. And when I recently had a chat with Jesse Marsh, he said when he first took over the men's national team, he looked at it and said, who are players I can definitely name? And he's like, I could only name 12. And he's like, that was not good enough. Now he feels like he can name 22. And a lot of that has to do with elevated play of guys like Nathan Saliba. So now that he's going to take that extra step and get that kind of playing time where it looks like he's also going to be there till about 2029. This was a longer deal that he was loaned out to. So I think that that is an excellent move for Nathan Saliba, what that can do for him professionally and as well with the national team.
And scored in his debut, no less, Andy Petrillo.
Exactly. So there you go. He's like, hey, play me more.
That's right.
Who is your number 3?
Number 3 already said his name with good reason. It's Tajon Buchanan. So 26 years old. Then you think about Canadians, and also I think we have to factor into our list here is what's happening at club, getting meaningful minutes. Can they translate that to country? Can they be impactful in both realms? But it's also what is it doing for the Canadian game, the Canadian calling card worldwide? And I think you think of Alphonso Davies going to a top club worldwide. He's done that. Another name we have yet to mention is a John David. His name might come up a little bit later in our rankings here, but Tajon Buchanan to Inter Milan was also that. But then the resulting kind of play and what he did after the fact didn't quite measure up to expectations. It was maybe too big too soon. To your point about Nathan Saliba, it's like taking more of a winding road, but guaranteeing that it's the right stepping stone in your journey to maybe there might be a bigger club, there might be a bigger setup, a bigger league in your future. But he goes out on loan to Villarreal and then now back there confirmed. And for me, when Jesse Marsh envisions a team full of elite level athletes who are also high level footballers, to me, Tajon Buchanan epitomizes that.
So a bit of a teaser, because of everything you said, he's actually higher up in my list because my number 3 is Kone. And that is because he has been so integral to that midfield. I would say that Stefan Eustáquio has been the heir apparent to Atiba Hutchinson, but it's like, who's going to play with him? And Kone looked so good. And in fact, there ended up being a dip at the Copa America last year. And I don't know if there was a distraction because of the rumors at the time that were swirling about him going to Marseille, which he ultimately did.
Yeah.
And then it just never worked out. It just never clicked. And because of that, you also saw him lose his starting position in that midfield. Other guys were getting it over him. You're seeing other guys rise to that occasion. I do have some questions with Sassuolo. As you mentioned, they just got promoted once again to Serie A. So it is good that he's going to be playing in a top league. But what is that fight going to look like for him to get minutes? Because I think this is a player who recognizes he's not necessarily automatically slotted in alongside Eustáquio in that starting 11. And that's a big deal, which is why I think this move is huge for him because it provides hope. It's a fresh start. Let's see what he can do with it. Because again, all eyes on 2026. I'm going to quickly just mention my number 2 because you've already said him. I have Tajon Buchanan at number 2, and that's pretty high for me because, again, Villarreal, big team, La Liga, they've qualified for Champions League as well. And this is a guy who has mattered so much, especially on that right, like that wing back, that speed. We're finally seeing him look like the old Tajon before all the injuries hit him. And if there's one thing John Herdman said to us, which he absolutely loved about him, he's like, this guy can score, but for a young player, he's already recognized the defensive side of the game. He needs to be somewhere where he's getting minutes. He's never really fit in. It broke my heart when I interviewed him and he's with Inter Milan. And I'm like, tell me about the food you're eating. And he's like, I don't know. He didn't like it. But I felt for him. Which, that broke my heart, and what is wrong with you? But I can appreciate the different palates of people a little bit, kind of, sort of, not so much. But you could tell he wasn't, there was just something not gelling and fitting.
Yeah.
So I really hope that paella is more of what he's looking for. And that'll get the job done for Tajon Buchanan. That's why I have him at number 2. So who do you have at number 2?
My number 2, which a lot of people might expect to be my number 1. So you're going to have to sit this one out or like hang on with bated breath to wait for my one. But number 2 is Jonathan David, who at 25 years old, we're thinking now that this is the biggest move, and is he Canada's best player and maybe one of the world's best strikers. So goes to Juventus, historically one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's proven now, based on his Champions League form with Lille, that he can do it against the big boys, that he can hang with the giants of the game and really be tested. Because that was one of the big questions. Yes, he's got this goal output. He's got an unbelievable ability to drop deeper, one of the smartest players that Jesse Marsch has ever coached. So, clear footballing IQ and acumen, whether he's on the ball or off the ball. But can he do it with the world's best? And I think the answer is yes. It's not only what they're doing for club and country, but it's what are they doing to kind of push the narrative of Canadian footballers fitting in to that world footballing landscape. And I think Jonathan David is changing the minds of men's footballers and men's pundits and fans about what it means to be a Canadian footballer.
I'm going to give that one to you
All
because
right.
I was under the impression that it was transfers that we were talking about. That's an all-out signing because he's a free agent. But you're not wrong. I mean, you can't have this conversation about Canadians making moves without talking Jonathan David and going to Juventus. And you're right. I mean, can you imagine walking through those halls and seeing the storied history there and seeing all these photos of Gianluigi Buffon? Not that he was my favorite or anything, but like you just look at what they've been able to do. That alone is so inspiring.
Okay, you're going to nitpick. You're going to nitpick. That's okay.
That's okay. Whatever. But I have a feeling our number one's the same. Do you want to just say the name at the same time?
Okay.
So we're going to go 1, 2, 3.
Olivia Smith.
There we go.
I said it faster than you. I'm competitive. It's the way I roll.
We're saying the same name. Anyways,
I know. You go. You talk about
okay.
why it's Olivia Smith.
I'm just it's a record-breaking deal. It's a world record.
Yeah.
Women's transfer. I mean, that's it. End of story. When you're already making history, how are you not number 1? That is simply what I will say, and I will allow you to take the rest.
Yeah, I just think it's again like world standing, the conversation of where women's footballers fit in if you're from Canada. I think the women's national team has always had this clout worldwide. But I think you look back to, I think, a failed and disappointing 2023 World Cup where they failed to get out of the group. The big narrative going into that was chip on our shoulder, we don't get the respect that we deserve. But I think now they still have yet to prove that they can do it. They can hang with the giants of the women's game at a World Cup, a more difficult tournament to navigate if you compare it to the Olympics. But I think if you look at a Vanessa Gilles, who you've already mentioned, you look at a Kadisha Buchanan, you look at an Ashley Lawrence, you look at an Adriana Leon, who I think finally is in the right club setup for playing in NWSL with the San Diego Wave. You look at Jade Rose going to Man City. But you look at Olivia Smith, a young footballer, 20 years old, breaking the transfer record previously held by Naomi Girma, over $1 million. And the women's footballing kind of trajectory is just insane, right? It's nascent, really. You've only seen the explosion in the last couple of years. You've only seen kind of the big five in the women's game go fully professional. So these transfer records, when you think about big stars, are only going to continue to be broken. But the fact that it's a Canadian doing it, and a Canadian like Olivia Smith, who is different than any other footballer we've ever had. Like, who's going to be the next Christine Sinclair is a conversation that you and I, Andy, have over and over again, almost ad nauseum. Olivia Smith is a different beast. Olivia Smith is a special game-breaking player who, to compare it to Christine Sinclair in terms of the goals is probably unfair, but to do what she does, where she's unrelenting, she's unstoppable, she wants to go 1v1, she's technically gifted, and goes from a team like Liverpool, where she had an outstanding year, only her second professional year, and looks to make massive moves now for Arsenal, one of the big guns in the women's game. I'm really excited, and that's why she's my number 1.
Other signings, I just think in the women's game too is, we see Ashley Lawrence make the move from Chelsea to Lyon, and then Kadisha Buchanan re-upping with Chelsea. Can't wait to see Kadisha Buchanan back on the pitch, also recovering from that ACL injury. And speaking of a player who's recovering from an injury, that's our next guest as we say goodbye to Amy. That was fun doing the top 5.
It was fun, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. See ya. Pleased to have on Just Soccer, Cloe Lacasse. Great to see you. We're going to get into some of the video you've been posting on Instagram right now because it's great to see you back on the pitch as well. But Amy Walsh and I were just ranking our top 5 of Canadian transfers, and I'm wondering if there's a move a Canadian has made that's caught your attention.
Yeah, I think right now the biggest buzz is probably what Olivia's done and going to Arsenal. I think there's a special connection there with Sabs and I having played there as well. But I think what she's doing is great and it's fantastic for the women's game as well. But I'm definitely excited to see what Vanessa does at Bayern as well and Ashley back
Mhm.
in France. I think that's great for all three of them. I think they're going to do fantastic in all their different clubs. But yeah, I think those are
Mhm.
probably the biggest Canadian moves this summer.
Okay, yeah, and you know what? And all those players were mentioned, and both of us had Olivia Smith at number 1. So there you go. We will add you to the list as well as having Olivia Smith at number 1. Let's get to your recovery journey because a lot of fans online have loved watching it. A lot of people behind you can't wait to see you back on the pitch for both Utah and obviously the national team from entry 1 to 11. And there's been like this poetic feel as well to your entries. What's the biggest challenge you've had to overcome during this period of recovery?
Yeah, I think for me, I've always been a player that's avoided the training room, to be honest. I think in the past I found myself there maybe for a week as my longest recovery timeline, we'll say. So I think that's been the biggest challenge is just having to accept their help and realizing that the medical staff, they're not the villains, they are the good guys. And it's okay in my current situation to be in there. And yeah, I'm thankful for them. They've done so much for me throughout these last couple months.
And speaking of the journey, how important was it for you to also document this whole process, like putting words to paper, writing it, posting it? I mean, was that something that, you learned pretty early on was cathartic for you?
Yeah, I think everyone there's been so many ACL journeys that have been logged in different ways, and I think for me, I wanted to have the power. I didn't want have it like I didn't want outside sources to be involved. I think I'm someone that doesn't necessarily look for the spotlight, you know what I mean? So this was kind of my way of reaching out to people that wanted to be a part of my journey and they wanted to know where I was at, but I wanted to control that setting. And I've enjoyed kind of creating a little community around it as well because I've realized there's a lot of other people that kind of have the same thought process going through it. So they've reached out to me as well, and it's been kind of special to realize whether they're soccer players or not. It's been kind of a cool experience to have created a community around it.
Another one of your recent posts, it's you on the training ground, and you said, training pick because I finally made it to the part where I have one. What was that feeling like stepping onto the pitch, smelling the dirt, the grass, I don't know, running? Like what did it
Yeah.
entail and the emotions involved?
Yeah, that part's definitely been my favorite, safe to say. I'm at the part now where I'm training with the team again and things we're finding normality again, and I think it was necessary, truthfully, because I was starting to drive the medical staff a little bit insane, including myself. So I think they're happy to have a little bit of distance between us both. But yeah, it's been fantastic to be out on the grass, like you said, and just being with my teammates and just doing the thing that I love to do. But yeah, it's finding that normality again, and now it's just kind of picking up the sharpness and just getting repetition after repetition day by day. So we're getting
Mhm.
closer.
Are you able to put a timeline on it?
I could tell you it's gonna be pretty soon, but I'm not putting an exact date on it quite yet.
Okay. A player you've already mentioned, obviously, when we were talking about our top 5 Canadian moves, Olivia Smith, and she's going to your former team in Arsenal. What advice would you give her, and what can you tell her to expect when it comes to the fan base?
Yeah, I think everybody knows that Arsenal is kind of leading the stride when it comes to the fan base in women's soccer for sure. They're doing a fantastic job out there. But I think yeah, Arsenal has incredible world-class talent out there, but Olivia being the young player that she is, just go enjoy it. Just go be a young player, take risks, have fun, take chances, enjoy the time that you have there. Because I don't think it's a situation you want to put pressure on yourself. She's done great in the past season, so she's just got to keep building off of those, and she will.
Speaking of playing, obviously, when it comes to the national team, there are a lot of Canadian fans who cannot wait to see you back representing the Maple Leaf. And you've been watching now. Casey Stoney, new head coach, obviously has taken over. How eager are you to get back to the national team?
Yeah, I think for me, it's been day by day with this type of injury. You don't want to look too far ahead, but yeah, I definitely miss the girls. I miss representing Canada. There's definitely been such special moments, like you said, wearing the maple leaf. So I'm definitely excited to get back out there and get back with the team. And I've been in contact with Casey, and it sounds like the team is really coming around and they're doing fantastic things now. I think we're doing the positives and we're heading towards that World Cup. So hopefully I can come back maybe this season and yeah, just get back with the girls and have a good time there as well.
Well, we look forward to this journey that you're on, and it's great to see you back on the pitch. And we can't wait to see you donning, whether it's the Utah colors and, of course, the Canadian colors pretty soon. Chloe, really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Nice to see you as well.
You know what time it is. Viral moment of the week. In the women's Euro final, England and Spain went the distance 1-1 after extra time, and then the shootout drama kicked off. Chloe Kelly stepped up and absolutely rocketed the game-winning penalty. And yes, it's coming home. Actually, it's been home twice now. Might as well give it a spare key. The Lionesses celebrated with tears, dances, and vibes for days. England are back-to-back European champions. Congrats to them. You've been watching Just Soccer. I'm Annie Petrillo. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.